So I'm going to give some announcements here while we're waiting for the last 5 seconds. The parking validation, if you park today, right next to where we went into the room over here, the exhibitor room, there's a parking validation. So put your parking ticket in there and you'll get 50% off, okay? And that room, the exhibitor's room, I encourage you to go in, take a look at what's there. There's plenty of printed material and probably some things that you'll find very helpful. So I encourage you to visit the exhibitor's room and see what's in there as well. With that, I'm going to introduce our panel here. I'm Steve Klasaris, one of the board members, and I'm introducing 4 other board members of the MSA Coalition: Cindy Romer, Larry Kellerman, Don Kraus. What's your name, guy? Neil Verso, our live streaming guy, who is getting things working, but I had to give him a little bit of a hard time there.
I'm not really live streaming anything. I'm just grabbing a link and putting it on our website. So yeah, you can, if you're watching on Facebook, by the way, we're streaming through our website too. You can tell your friends and family who don't have Facebook. We had that request earlier today, and we got you covered.
Okay, good. And they are going to talk about the MSA cause and what you can do. So with that, I'll hand it over to the panel.
All right, I think I'm up first. So really what this is about is helping you to be empowered. You're going to, again, hear more about the board tonight and some of our stories. But what I will tell you is that we've been personally impacted by and large by MSA. So we understand that with a rare disease, with the difficulty in diagnosis for this disease, at times it can be frustrating. You may feel helpless. And feeling like you're doing something and feeling empowered can make a really big difference in just your mindset and moving forward, and the acceptance that Rhonda was talking about in the earlier session. How many of you were in the earlier session, the patient panel? Anybody here? A couple of you? Not everyone, but a few of you. Okay. So I think it was Kathleen mentioned support groups as a resource. But it's also something that you can do for yourself. There's value. There's value to it in a number of ways. There's the emotional support. And I'm going to connect that to actually the last bullet here, the part of a community. As a patient traveling a road with a rare disease, there's often a feeling of isolation that comes with that, because people will not understand what you have. You'll say MSA and they'll say MS. Right? And then you'll try to explain it, and the best you can get, the closest you can get is Parkinson's disease. And they've never heard of it. Sometimes there's problems with diagnosis before you finally get to that point where you get the diagnosis. Right? There's research being done, right? But it's not the same as some of the other prevalent diseases. So it's really important to keep positive, and these support groups can help you to do that. You're not alone, right? There's other people there with you traveling through this same journey, and you can connect with them. Another thing is the practical resources that you can get from them. So I run one of the local support groups in New Jersey, and I get to really work with the patients and the care partners, and the wealth of information that they share with one another. And this is a great meeting. But as you go to your local support group, maybe you start one, you're also going to get local resources, which is helpful. Yeah, I went to this doctor, but did you know that at this university hospital or at this medical center, they have this special program? Or I found this really worked for me. Or this was a silly little thing somebody recommended, but it really works well to help me with this issue. And you get some really practical resources from one another. If you go to a support group that has, that's connected to being a hospital-run one or an organization-run organization, you're probably going to get some speakers, some professionals like you have here today, and they can come in a much smaller setting and also work with you and talk to you about what you can do, and time for Q&A in a more personal setting. You know, one of the things that I was really happy that Kathleen mentioned was she knows that some people are afraid of them because you might face something that you don't really want to face, that inevitable future. And I get that. You know, my mother was the patient, it wasn't me. But what I will tell you is that what Kathleen said was so true. This disease presents so differently that that person you're looking at is not necessarily you in the future. You just don't know. And as Rhonda said, you just don't know what each day brings. We don't know what day that cure is going to come. And maybe it's not the cure. Maybe it's an improvement in treatment, right, that's going to improve your quality of life. So the fear could hold you back. And I think the message that the patients and care partners are giving you is that don't let the fear dictate your life. Let courage run your life. Let openness to community be part of your life. Make good practical choices like getting some of these resources and making friends that have similar kinds of situations. I think you'll find that there's more value in these sessions than anything to fear. Now, MSA Coalition, lots of resources for you, right? Besides these annual conferences. You've got the website, you've got the call line that Larry primarily runs, but we also have Judy and Vera and some other great people helping out with that have been through this.
Do you want to give the phone number for... Yeah, you want to give the phone number?
You can give it now.
Yeah,
Larry, you want to go ahead and give it?
Yeah.
If you're wanting to call the support line or the call line and you need some help, I'll give you my personal phone number because that's where I put the information, and it does not bother me for you to call. I have a lot of people on my contact list. My phone number is area code 309-634-6357, and it's Larry Kellerman. And I'll answer it, and I'll put you in my contact list, and I'm always willing to talk to patient, caregiver, even have a few relatives who call and want to get some information about how they can help a family member.
And the 800 number? They should have that too, the organization number.
That I do not have.
The charity's phone number is 866-737-5999 or 4999.
Thank you, Don. Okay.
309-634-6357. You're very welcome.
So while it's a resource we provide, what can you do? Again, you can empower yourself. You can be fully armed with knowledge. Right? You can get resources. You can get answers. You can get support. And then the last point I want to make is you might decide that you want to work on trying to get a support group set up. As a patient or a care partner, that's well within reason to be able to do, even if there's not a local organization to help you. We recommend that you work with a local organization, but if there's not one, then your local hospital. Talk to the caseworker, the social worker, nurse practitioner. There's different specialists, and each hospital is a little bit different, but get some professional support and find out, are there enough patients here that we could get together a support group? And it doesn't have to be every month. Maybe you'll start it quarterly. But it's a way you can help to bring people together. Again, empower yourself and empower your MSA community. And gradually grow those resources that you're going to benefit from as well. So coming soon, the MSA Coalition is going to have a support manual. It will talk about all the support services that we have available, but it will also give you guidance on setting up a support group so that we can help you to do that. So watch for that, because we want to help you to help yourselves and improve your quality of life. So with that, I am going to turn this over to our next member of the board, Neil Versell, who's going to talk about the importance of spreading awareness. Right? Again, many things you can do in different ways. Neil?
Okay, thanks, Cindy. So awareness is something that's severely lacking because, as Cindy said, nobody knows what MSA is. You have to say multiple system atrophy. No, it's not MS. It's not Parkinson's. It's close to Parkinson's. Symptoms are like ALS, but no, it's not ALS, and we wish we had a Lou Gehrig so everybody would know what MSA is, but I do whatever I can. I've got this jersey, cycling jersey that I had. So we had a custom order put in last spring, and if there's enough interest, we'll do it again this year. We have T-shirts out front that are for sale. I think, what, $20, something like that?
20.
They're 20. Wear those everywhere. These bags, take them with you to the grocery store with your shopping. Talk it up. Get the purple bracelet. I think we have some available out there too. Go on during our awareness month. Okay, so we have the MSA Awareness Month in March. We have some activities that we do there. We have a lot of people plan local activities. Plan one in your community. Reach out to the local TV or radio station, for talk show or for some public interest show that they have, and or on the news, and go out there and bring an MSA patient on with you and say, this is what MSA does to somebody. This is how we cope with it. This is how you can help us. We have our World MSA Day coming up on October 3rd, just in a week or so. That's actually being run by a woman in Belgium, but it is a global thing, and we can help your family, your friends and family go there. We do our fundraiser. Well, our fundraiser is kind of ongoing, but we do a big push toward the end of the year,
We'll talk about that.
which Don will talk about. If you want to put together a special fundraising activity, for example, around your loved one's birthday, even if they've passed on, you might get the friends and that person's friends together and get a restaurant to donate a portion of the profits or something like that, or host something at your house and say, here, donate a few dollars to get in, or whatever.
Social media.
Social media, we're going to talk about. Social media, we kind of have, at least I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it as it relates to MSA. We have a lot of people very active on our Facebook pages, but as we sort of learned this morning, a lot of people aren't on Facebook or have given up on Facebook or don't check it very regularly, so we did then end up putting this live stream link on our website. We are redesigning our website over the next few months. Don will talk about that as well. Hopefully that will bring some more resources to you and raise our profile just a little bit. Now, you can go on, share the Facebook links with people back home. Feel free to tweet. Is anybody tweeting from this conference by any chance? I didn't think so. We don't get a lot of activity on our Twitter, though we do have a good number of followers. Do we have anybody using, and we are going to be soon be able to fundraise through our YouTube page. We will be putting more videos on our YouTube page, and hopefully we'll be getting more eyeballs to that. All the videos from this conference will be there eventually in some form. We have last year's conference videos up there. We have some other interesting tidbits that have recently gone up. What was the one that you just put up?
Sophie's Search for a Cure.
Sophie's Search for a Cure. Would you like to explain that, Larry? Yeah.
If you have not heard of, there is a video that was put together by the husband of a wife who passed away from multiple system atrophy. He put together a video outlining her life from the beginning up until she passed. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It is a wonderful perspective on the travels a family takes through the MSA journey. It is one that is very moving. I would tell you that when my wife and I watched it, it was about a box of Kleenexes, and it's well worth it. It gives you a raw perspective and a meaningful perspective on the MSA journey.
Yeah. And we just made that available widely. We had some DVDs. I think we still may have some somewhere, but we just made that available last week on YouTube. It's free. It's in its entirety, and feel free to watch it, to share it, to talk it up. We have some other little tidbits out there. There's a young child who did some songs. We're going to be are those up yet? I don't think so. They are up. Yeah. We have a young child who posted some songs, really quite moving. Get the next generation involved. We need the next generation involved. We need, we're a small community. We're a completely volunteer-run organization right now, and we rely on everybody out there, the rest of the MSA community, to help extend our message. So if you'd like to help in any way, it can be as much or as little as you can, even if it's just sharing a video with somebody. Anything is appreciated, because we are so so poorly understood. Our disease is so poorly understood, and our community is not well known.
So just as we wrap up this segment, I think to bring it back to This is a resource to you, particularly the social media in terms of the interactions of the patients, so it's almost like a virtual support in a sense. And then again, that awareness, and what does that awareness do to benefit you as you're spreading awareness? It helps with the isolation as more and more people learn about it and understand it, certainly. Realistically, if we're all going to be practical, well, the more numbers. What does that do? It helps to get sponsorships. What does that do? It helps to get more research funded, right? So the chain of events, there's a practical side to it as well, to be perfectly honest. So as you're on there, you're having a resource. As you're spreading the word, you're helping to educate others, right? Again, you're empowering yourselves, but you're also helping to build the cause and build a foundation that's going to move things forward. So, and that's actually going to lead us to our next segment. Right? Thank you, Neil. We want to talk a little bit about research. You heard about that this morning and the values of participating, and we understand that sometimes there's some concerns, but there's a lot of value. So we're going to turn it over to Larry to speak about that.
Good afternoon. I'm here to talk to you for a few minutes about research. It's of a particular interest to me as a scientist. Before I even learned that my wife had MSA, doing research was a very key component in my life. Then finding out that my wife had a very rare disease made it even more important. What you see up here are some of the ways that I think we can all contribute. And one of the ways, as you can see, is through participation. And we just had a presentation an hour ago regarding GLOMSAR. We had 7 people in there. It would have been good to have 50 people in there. GLOMSAR is a site that is organized by the NIH. We help fund it, the MSA Atrophy Coalition. It is a way to gather data from around the world. And so it's not just those in the United States that have MSA, it's others as well. And so GLOMSAR is a key place for data to be collected and then ultimately shared with researchers, and clinical trials can be established and set up. Fox Trial Finder, established by the Michael J. Fox Foundation. Even though Michael J. Fox is thought of as a Parkinson's organization, they have atypical Parkinsonism as one of their highlights as well. And if, as you might listen tomorrow, you find out that research into Parkinson's is almost as important for an MSA patient as research for MSA is to a Parkinson's patient, joining into Fox Trial Finder, filling out the information, participating in clinical trials that way is very good. And we discussed briefly in the other presentation, but here as well, clinicaltrials.gov. You can limit yourself to the disease, to the location, to the specific symptoms, and you will find in all of those ways, you find very specific trials that are recruiting, that have completed, that have already begun sharing their data, and the clinicaltrials.gov is a very good site. Personal data is very important. It's so important to keep journals. I think Gene was in there earlier and a couple others. You've got an entire box of journals from your mother. And I have an entire file cabinet drawer full of notes from when my wife had the disease. And those are important. Keeping notes on your phone for when you go into the doctor's office. You get a 30 or 45 minute time with your doctor. In that 30 to 45 minutes, you do not want to waste that time. If you have notes on the phone, the doctor's very happy to just look that up and go, oh, 3 months ago you had this happen. Oh, this symptom started 2 weeks ago. The key is doctors plan for the next 3 to 6 months. This is a disease that progresses. They know it. They've been trained to look at you, to listen to what you're saying, and then get you ready for those next 3 to 6 months through the treatments that they provide. Use data collection apps. There's a lot of data collection apps, some provided by the federal government through the DMCC. There's some provided by private entities. Portable Genomics is one that has a very, very good app for people who suffer from MSA, PSP, and a couple of other diseases. It's a practical way to keep track of what's going on with you. And share when you can. MSA community benefits. It brings researchers closer to the answer. And there's 3 places. One is in the diagnosis. We aren't able to diagnose early enough. And as you heard this morning, it's 80%, 75 to 80% that the diagnosis is correct. You would not want to go out and buy something or go out and do something if you did not know 90, 95% what good that was. So we have people that out of 10 people, 8 of them are going to be correctly diagnosed, 2 will not. That's what that means. And so we want to make sure we get that up to the 90, 95%, 99%, which is often the case with many of the diseases we have. It also brings personal satisfaction. And so the personal satisfaction, I want to go to my next slide, and I hope I don't cry. I'll try not to. This lady right here was my wife. This is Mary Colleen Kellerman. Symptoms started 2008, took 5 years to diagnose. She passed away 3 years later. She was at the 2014 conference. In the 2014 conference, Lucy Norcliffe Kaufman, who you met at the Glomsar presentation, her husband, Horatio, was there, and a doctor you will meet tomorrow, Dr. Vic Khurana, was there. They were walking around, they were visiting with patients. They came over to Colleen and I, and they sat down for a little bit and talked to us. And they said, you know what, Colleen, it'd be nice if you donated your brain to us. And when you donate your brain, would you donate some tissue, skin tissue, and also your eyes? We really would like to have your eyes. And we thought about it. We asked them why, and they said, well, we've got a hypothesis that we're going to be working on, and we'd really like it if you would do it. And she had the classic symptoms of an MSAC, and so when we got back in the car and started driving from Virginia back to Illinois, we were talking, and she just made up her mind in the car. Larry, I'm going to make my donation. I'm signing up, and I'm going to do it. We filled out the paperwork, got everything set. She passed away February 4th, 2016, and they came and got her body, and they took her brain, and they took her eyes, and they took her skin, and they sent it off to the New York University Langone Medical Center. The autopsy of the brain did show that she was an MSA cerebellar patient, so it was confirmed there. But what was more important is what you see here in this paper, and I've got copies of it, and it's neurology, clinical scientific notes, so it's out in the library. You can find it on the web. There were 3 women who were asked to donate their eyes who had MSA. One was a 69-year-old, one was a 59-year-old, and one was a 61-year-old. That was my wife. Their 3 eyes were compared to the eyes of 3 healthy patients who had passed, female. What they were looking for was whether the nerve that goes from the back of your eye to your brain, the ganglion nerve, in an MSA patient thins out compared to a healthy adult. And so they did the study, and this was a small hypothesis, small study, 3 people. And the doctors that you'll see up here, in fact, one of the doctors is Horatio Kaufman, Lucy's husband. What they found out was their hypothesis was confirmed. So they found from 3 women, one who was just a little lower middle class, 61-year-old woman who lived in Peoria, Illinois, who happened to have just 4 grandchildren, 2 children, married to this old boy right here. Her contribution led the NYU Langone Medical Center to set up a clinical trial where they are looking at 200 MSA patients' eyes, 200 Parkinson's patients' eyes, and 200 controls. They're trying to see if their hypothesis can still be confirmed. And according to Dr. Jose Alberto Palma, in a phone conversation 2.5 months ago, it looks like their hypothesis will be confirmed. So by one person, 3 women, donating their eyes and their tissue, we might be able, early on, to diagnose someone simply because of people donating and giving. So please, when this comes up in your own way, do what you can to help, and research will be much better for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Important message there that you can make a difference. And just a note about some of those resources for research, those links are at the MSA Coalition website. Okay? And now I'd like to present to you Don Kraus, our Vice Chair, who's going to speak to you about fundraising, because sadly it always comes back to we've got to have the funds to get this work done. Okay?
Thank you, Cindy. Hello, everybody. Changing slides. So fundraising is one of the most important things that you can do to help, and I think it really helps for two key reasons. One is that obviously it brings money into the cause, which we put into funding great research programs. Dr. Palma is actually one of the winners of our Young Investigator Research Travel Grants. And these programs have really led to lots of young investigators choosing to focus more on multiple system atrophy. So fundraising fuels those types of programs, and also educational programs, which helps with doctors making diagnoses earlier, treating their patients better. The second thing that I think fundraising does, maybe better than any other thing when we're trying to create awareness, it really helps with awareness. It's one thing to share a Facebook post, which is really important. But if you make an ask and somebody in your network actually contributes money to the MSA Coalition, they're going to be part of the community now because they've invested into it. And so their awareness level is going to go higher than somebody who just kind of takes a glance at a Facebook post that you shared. So it's a great way to raise awareness. So what I have on the slides here are actually 3 different levels of how you can support the MSA Coalition, kind of from the easiest to things that take a little bit more effort. So the first thing is that the MSA Coalition is signed up with 3 different shopping groups where all you have to do is shop. If you're shopping on Amazon, or if you shop online at any of the big sporting goods or Walmart or hundreds of stores really, just by shopping, they'll donate some percentage of your total purchase back to the MSA Coalition. So one of the most important ones, because just about everybody shops there now, is Amazon. Amazon Smile has a program. If you just put that into your computer, you sign in, you register, pick the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition as your charity, and then be sure that when you go to Amazon Smile every time you shop. It looks exactly like the main Amazon page, but a percentage of every purchase made will come back to the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition. And I ask you to invite people that you know that do a lot of shopping on Amazon to do the same thing. Another different tool that's pretty interesting is Good Shop. And if you go to their website, we're a sponsor on there, and they actually provide a way that you can save money. They have coupons to all of the big online retailers, including Amazon. We use Vistaprint for the MSA Coalition to buy our business cards, and they donate Vistaprint donates 15% of our purchase back to us, for example, through going through Good Shop. So it's a super easy way to go. If you go there, if you're looking to try and find some good coupon codes, it's excellent. And then iGive is another one where you go in and you register, and they somehow link your identity to other stores that you shop in, and those stores will donate percentages back as well.
I can speak to that one because I actually use iGive, and you get a little widget on your browser, and every time you go to one of, I think they have about 2,000 different online retailers available, and you get a little thing in the bottom of the window. If it's available, it says click here to activate iGive for this. And the donations are pretty small, but they do add up. I mean, it's maybe 1.5% and sometimes 50 cents per transaction or whatever, but 1.5%, if you're buying something that's, $1,000, that's $15 right there. So that's, it's a decent size donation, but it's real easy to do, and that's, I mean, they literally do have 2,000 online retailers in their database.
Yeah, and Good Shop may have the same as well. So please, write these 3 tools down and sign up. Right now we have, handfuls of people using each of them. If we get the entire MSA community to do it and then some extended network, it can add up to thousands of dollars that literally cost none of us anything additionally out of pocket other than what we're
And
buying.
there's a nice way to connect social media and awareness with this. Again, it's nothing that you're having to put a ton of work into, but if you do connect to Facebook, you're learning about it, and a shared post means that your network is learning about it, and they can do it too, particularly when Mother's Day, Father's Day, the holidays are coming around. It's a good time to do that.
Yep, and the holidays especially. Can we take a question? Or?
Do you want to do it at the end or now? Whatever you want. That was a really quick one.
Okay, go ahead.
Here, let
Go,
me bring you
go.
the mic. Here, let me bring you the mic.
Does Amazon tell you how many people select the MSA Coalition? Like, do you get any data back from them?
I don't. We'd probably have to look into that. I honestly don't know the answer to that, but I'll look into that.
We do get reports.
For a while, and I know I've given like $78 so far, so that's
Yep.
what I buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
Terrific.
I'm pretty sure my wife is in the lead, but
But we do get quarterly reports.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it does that, at least not on our end, but maybe the back end.
Okay.
We do get some quarterly reports, so the extent of details I'd have to look into, but we do get some quarterly reports, yes.
Okay. So then the next type of fundraiser that you can do takes a little bit more effort, but it's still relatively simple, is just to do a social online fundraiser. We have several tools where you can do that. One is CrowdWise. We actually have our annual holiday challenge coming up. That begins on Giving Tuesday, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. That's our single biggest day for raising money each year. Last year we raised, I believe, just under $100,000 on that day. And for the 6-week holiday giving campaign, we raised over $260,000 and finished in 5th place out of over 1,000 charities raising money on CrowdRise for their holiday campaign. So we received an extra $25,000 in prize money from the Newman's Own Foundation. So, and that was with just 100 active fundraisers out of the MSA community. So again, it's one of these things that if we can continue to build to get more people involved, and all you have to do is you create a fundraiser. It's actually a great place to tell your story. You can upload videos, pictures, you can put text that explains your story, and then you get a URL and you can post it into social media on your Facebook pages or elsewhere, and you can also send it out in emails, which is even more effective than social media. So that's a great way to build awareness, and all it's 5-10 minutes to set up the page and then just sharing it with people. An even less intrusive way to fundraise socially is Facebook, which we're having a lot of success with this year. And you can go in, it's great for birthdays and anniversaries, and you go into the MSA Coalition website, you look at fundraisers, you quickly set it up. It actually has a template in there that's already built for you. It's better if you can put in your own pictures and tell your own story. And then you go, and the next step before it goes live is who do you want to invite? And it gives you a list of every single person in your contact list, and I highly recommend just inviting them all. They will then get a notification that you have a fundraiser, but it's not a pushy notification. They'll just know that you're fundraising, and a pretty good portion of your network will donate $10, $25 or more. And we have people raising money now on Facebook that didn't think they could raise money, that are having successful campaigns where they're raising $1,000, $1,500 or more. So it's a really good tool. Lastly, I just want to mention that we have a new social tool as well, which is Charity Footprints, and we're going to be launching a really big campaign at the beginning of March for MSA Awareness Month. That's going to be a virtual global walk-on. So if you have a Fitbit or a Garmin or an Apple Watch or even just a phone, you can download an app and it tracks your steps. And you can ask people to sponsor you. You can buy walk-a-thon registrations for kids, grandkids, siblings, whoever, so that they're walking for the cause. And we're going to walk around the world visiting all of the important MSA research centers. It's going to be tracked on Google Maps, so it's a really cool program. The last one that I want to talk about it's probably the most complicated of the bunch, but we have several people that do these for us on an annual basis now, whether it's walk-a-thons, car shows, bowl-a-thons, and that's live events. And we're now working with CrowdRise on this as well, because they're working with, they were acquired by GoFundMe, so they now have more advanced tools for ticketing, and so if you go to our main CrowdRise page, which you can get to from our website, there's a teal button that says Start a Fundraiser. You'll see live events. And so if you have something that you're passionate about, a sport, music, Larry's doing a huge blues thing now for several years that's getting bigger and bigger. This next one's going to be the best one ever.
Hopefully there won't be a snowstorm this year. Yes, yeah.
So the CrowdRise tool makes it super easy to bring in ticketing, to seek sponsors, and they'll handle all of the financing, and then the proceeds that are left over will come to the MSA Coalition. So these are 3 really different ways that you can raise money for the MSA Coalition that are super important. Highly encourage you to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Okay. Thanks, Don. Again, these things in the end come back to help the MSA community and come back to help you as we move forward with this cause. So that brings us to the last of the items, and that is, think about what you can do. Are you that person that's interested in getting a support group off the ground? Are you great on social media and you can do lots of sharing and help with awareness, or write a nice little article that goes into your local paper? are you good at raising funds and generating revenue, or just, again, back on social media and setting up one of these simple ones to get the fundraising going? Are you committed to wanting to contribute to research? Again, what I said before, don't let fear dictate you. Think about those concerns that Dr. Poston talked about this morning, and, do I really need to have those concerns? What are the pros? What are the cons? Don't the benefits outweigh? Am I willing to give and make that difference to understanding MSA? So there's plenty you can do. What are your skills? What's your talent? How much time do you have? Can you help in writing an article that can be shared with others? Can you go to your state and get a proclamation declared making March MSA Awareness Month and getting that awareness out there in your state or your community? Do you have expertise that you can share? Something that you're really good at doing that you come to us and say, hey, I'm willing to help with that. Build on your interest, build on your skills, build on your talents. Contribute where you can. I'm telling you, the more you help and you do, the more empowered you feel, and you really have control. You take control of your life and living with this disease. So if you have questions, as an organization, we're all here to help. Come talk to us, and we're willing to give you some guidance on how you might be able to accomplish these different tasks that you might be interested in doing. Do we have questions right now? Larry, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to say one thing. Dennis Shart was up here a little while ago, and Denny, as he was leaving, was talking about a lady who will be here tomorrow to do 2 30-second commercials that she wants to play on her Blues television network, which is right now in 6 major cities and will be in 280 cities within the next 6 months, and it's live streaming. One of the things she is going to do is work with a script that was put together by a lady who lost her mother last year to the disease, and she called Helpline. She said, could I contribute? I'd like to be able to do something. She shared her name and her information. We had a talk on the board about how we could help or how we could use her. She said, hey, I can do voiceovers, I can write commercials, and she has written the scripts for the 2 commercials, and she's going to do the voiceovers for them. So she found a place to use her skills, and you'll see those, and we'll make sure that they're posted on our website when they're ready, and then the lady whose name is E.C. Scott will be showing them on her television network. So that's a very simple way. Maybe you have a skill or a talent that you'd like to use as well. And so please do so if you can. Every dollar is important when you're fighting a disease, and it's such a rare disease. So it's very much worthwhile. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, and just piggybacking on the fundraisers, the restaurant fundraisers was one of the other ones. So we're doing one. I can't begin to tell you how easy they are to put together, working with a local restaurant. It's often as easy as showing the proof of the 501c3 status, making a flyer, and sharing it. Again, social media helps to do that. So you bring the flyer in, and please do so if you can while you're in town. I don't know San Francisco. It's not my home base. I can't tell you how many local people I've talked to that said, well, you're out here, you've got to go to, are you ready for this in San Francisco? New England Lobster and Eatery. But everybody says it's great. And we called them, and they're really nice people, and all I did was ask. And they agreed to it. So throughout this weekend through Sunday, take one of those flyers. There's also a page in the program. And 10% of the proceeds of your check, so you're not doing anything you wouldn't do but eat, right? Not costing you anything, and 10% will come back to the coalition, which is a great deal.
We're actually working now to launch a new website, and on that website there's going to be a link to a group that's going to have all of the restaurants, big chains around the country that are willing to do these, and the MSA Coalition is going to be set up so it's going to be even easier than having to do anything on your own in terms of proving that we're a 501c3. It'll all be set up, and you'll see the list of restaurants and how much of their proceeds they're willing to donate to the MSA Coalition.
So that's being released very soon. Again, the support group manual to help you get started, set up a support group. Again, there's a lot of stuff that's still coming in addition to what we're already doing to try to help you. So are there any questions?
All right, I'm gonna play Oprah.
Okay, go for it, Neil.
So, yep.
I just wanted to know if you could provide for me the address of the YouTube movie about MSA and the family's journey through this.
Oh, the Sophie's Cure?
Yeah, so well, it's on our. Yeah, I'll we will, it's on our Facebook.
I've posted it on my face. I can get it right up for you as soon as we get done. I'll bring it over to you so you can look at it, and I'll give you the address, and that way you can get right to it.
If you go to YouTube and search for the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition, it's going to be one of the newest videos
Yeah.
in that channel.
Yeah,
So it
I
should be
will
relatively
share it
easy.
on Facebook again and tweet it out again as soon as we're done here also. So, Sophie's Search for a Cure. And we also have the video from Austin Crawford.
Yes.
Who is
Well,
an
we'll be
MSA
showing that
patient,
tonight.
which we'll be showing it tonight, yeah. It's not that long and it's very moving. So, other questions?
Thank you all.
Thank you all for coming today. Please join us tonight for the reception. I hope you're going to be here. Obviously, dinner's provided, cash bar at 5:15, and I think a nice program that you'll enjoy this evening with more feedback and hearing from your peers, other patients and care partners that are traveling the journey of MSA. So please do join us this evening.
And
if
we
you-
will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just
And
say-
if you have any, want to tell any stories about fundraisers or awareness events that you've done, we'd love to hear them, even one-on-one afterwards. We can do something about that. I know a couple of people here who have done some things on their own. The more we know about, the more that we can promote, and we can sort of help each other around the country and around the world.
And I was just going to say one thing about the reception night. Not only will you get to see another patient panel where the patients are going to be sharing, you'll see the video we just talked about from a young man, early onset MSA, who's fighting the disease, and they put together a very moving video of him. But we also have at 8:45 a candle lighting ceremony. And
Yes.
the candle lighting ceremony is for all who would like to light a candle for someone who they've lost or someone that they would like to honor. And it's very moving. Gives you a chance to honor someone that you might care about or that have cared about or loved. So please join us if you would, okay?
Thank you. All right. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you later.